Welcome back. And today we are going to talk about security and compliance fundamentals. So, from this video, we are going to explore SC900 version 2. Just like the other series, we have completed AZ700. We are going to complete this one as per the syllabus, step by step, covering all the topics. All right, so this is V2 because we have already prepared it once, but that was pretty old, so we need to go through it again. Just revising this particular series, and we'll go with 100, 200, 300, 400 as the time permits. So, what is the name of this particular certification? This is MS Security Compliance and Identity Fundamentals. Okay, that's what the name of the certification is. Now it has multiple modules. Modules where we need to talk about the first one is describe the concept of security. It's all about describe. So we'll not go into the deep, but describe the concept of security, then compliance and identity. Once we understood this, then we need to talk about again describe the capabilities of MS Entra. And the third module is describe the capabilities of MS Security Solutions. It is really good to understand the fundamentals and make your base strong. And the fourth module is describe the capabilities of MS Priva and Purview. So these are new things. We did not discuss these in our previous SC900, I think. Anyways, we are going to cover everything step by step, all the topics as per the syllabus. So let's start with the security, compliance, and security. The very first topic we have for under module 1 is I could remove this one, that's fine. Let's put it here. The very first topic is describe shared responsibility model. Okay, describe. All right, this is the first topic in this module. We all are pretty familiar with this shared responsibility model, right? But for the new people who joined with us and who are learning, for those we have seen, this is really experience. We have seen, particularly with the customers, many times when they approach cloud or they have already approached cloud without even talking to the cloud experts or people who are dealing with cloud. They just create things or resources on the cloud and they think everything is secure by default. But that's not true. Why? Because cloud is secure, but whatever we are creating on the cloud, we have some responsibility to secure it. That's why it's a shared responsibility model, right? So let's take an example. If we are running something on premises, how we run it in order to understand it. When we run anything on premises, we need to get the space, right? We need to get the hardware, right? We need to install the OS or the relevant softwares over it. And everything is our responsibility, right? Just like we have given the example of, when you make your home, right? Or you live in apartment, right? You live on rent or you live on hotel. When you are in home, that is more or less like on premises because everything is your. This is your land, your bricks. You create the blueprints. Uh, you get the everybody involved to not deploy or rather work so that you get your home ready, and you'll be responsible for everything. Your electricity, your water, and everything would be your responsibility. But in case of apartment, it's little different. The society will take care of a lot of things. You will only take care of your one apartment. Electricity is all security, water is all society. Even the guard security is taken care by the society. But the security of your apartment is yours. If you are opening, you're not applying any lock on your apartment, but the society has guard on the gate. This will not secure your apartment, right? So that is apartment, or you could say or think as an IaaS service like your virtual machines. Okay. And when you live on rent, you don't care about that particular aspect of it. Like, it's fine, the landlord will take care of the electricity, water, paints, everything, and you will only stay there for a while, and you will only get the things which is required for you, like you'll take care of your kitchen, your bedroom, your drawing room, and once you are through with it, you'll take all these and that's done. So in rent you have the, again, shared responsibility. Some of the responsibility taken care by the landlord. Main responsibilities as per the apartment is taken care by the society, right? So there would be kind of PaaS services like Azure SQL databases, where you don't have the access to the operating system. You don't need to manage anything on those virtual machines. You don't even have the access to the VMs, but Azure will take care of it. And hotel is like you don't care of anything. You just pay, stay, and leave. You don't care about the curtains. You don't care about the wall paints. You don't care about the bedding, anything, right? So it is more or less like a SaaS application. Now, as we have uh, talked about the foundation, right? This is the foundation. Keep this in mind, and then we'll move ahead, and you would have all the understanding that you should have. So, accordingly, we have the shared responsibility model when we have cloud in the picture, right? Just like here, we have shared responsibility or a security model in different places where we live. Similarly, with the relevant IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, or on premises. So, shared responsibility model makes responsibility absolutely clear. In an apartment, you are responsible for your apartment. You are not responsible for the security guard standing on the society gates or the electricity or the water supply, right? So, let's take this further with the shared responsibility model that we have to understand SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and on premises. Let me get this image here. All right, so this is our shared responsibility model right here. As you can see in the on premises, everything is your responsibility. You are responsible for everything from physical security to encrypting sensitive data, from maintenance of your data center or coolant, AC, physical security. Everything is your responsibility, just like in a home. But if you are running IaaS services on Azure or cloud, like a virtual machine, infrastructure as a service, which was the relevant to the apartment in a society, right? In that situation, these three things. Because when you are creating a virtual machine, right, what do? You open Azure portal, right? You create, let me write it down. Let's suppose this is your Azure portal. You open Azure portal, you create a virtual network, right? This is software defined virtual network. And then you create a VM inside it, right? Now you're creating a VM that you can see, which is running on the Azure portal. But somewhere at the back end, the hardware is right in the Azure data center, right? It is running somewhere. You are accessing through Azure portal, but it is running on Azure data center, where the region that you have selected here, right? So this region in this data center, this particular computes and hardware is being used, and the VM is running actually here. You're accessing from the Azure portal, right? Now, which means this data center, the hardware, the physical security, everything is taken care by Azure, and you have created VM over it. But now VM is your responsibility, means the patching of the VM, the turning off, turning on, NSG ports, all these is your responsibility. At the back end, it is running on a data center, which is Microsoft's responsibility, right? This is what I was trying to explain here. So physical host, physical network, physical data center is all taken care by Microsoft. And operating system, because this is your operating system, you choose Windows or Linux or Ubuntu when you create the virtual machine, so this is your responsibility. Network, because you create the virtual network, you apply the NIC, you apply the IP, you can apply multiple NIC, you can open port for everybody to have a attack on your virtual machine, or you can only open for one particular IP address. So that is your responsibility now, because you can do this. Now whatever application you're running, that is your responsibility over it. Who is accessing all accounts, identity, everything is your responsibility, because from here you have created it and you have the access to work upon it, right? Similarly, the PaaS and the SaaS. So PaaS provides an environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications. So you don't have access to the operating system. It may be running multiple VMs at the back end for Azure SQL, for App Gateway, for VPN Gateway, but you don't have the access. But you still apply the network controls. Like for Azure SQL, you can stop public access, you can enable private endpoint, you can apply the network firewall on it, right? Same goes with the applications like app services, right? Yeah, identity. So it is more or like you both have the responsibility there. Because if you're not applying some access, then people can access. For example, you are not applying any firewall on your Azure SQL. Then what happens? Your application can access your Azure SQL the way, maybe through public IP, because Azure SQL has public IP, maybe through Azure backend, or through private endpoint or service endpoint. So we have the control over it. We can do it. So it's a shared responsibility between both MS and us. But as per my understanding and opinion, I would say you take this control. Don't let it be there. You decide what is the right for you. You make it a private, with the help of private endpoint, and if it's app service, do VNet integration, utilize private endpoint for Azure SQL, make it private. Same goes with the application. Take the responsibility and secure your application for which you are responsible for, right? And MS is responsible. Why? Because you are deploying application is running on the platform. So MS is responsible for that, all the backend virtual machine on which, or container on which this is running. Right. So the goal of PaaS is to help you create an application quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure. PaaS, with PaaS, the cloud provider manages the hardware and operating system, and the customer is responsible for application and data. I hope this started making sense to you now. Then SaaS, where everything is taken care by the SaaS provider. So you only need, for example, we only take the like Salesforce, right? Like MS 365, we only create accounts or data information. Only these things is ours. Rest is all the provider's responsibility. Identity is shared because we are utilizing Azure Entra ID, right? So that is SaaS, which means when you are moving this direction, your responsibility is getting smaller and smaller, and you can focus on your business or some other innovative work rather maintaining all those things which is not your initial business, because maybe you are running an e-commerce website, so e-commerce is your business, maintaining data center is not your business. So if you move towards this, towards IaaS, PaaS and SaaS as per your flexibility, your skill, your cost, your understanding, the responsibility that you are not managing, which means you have more time, you have more cost, you have more money that you can utilize to make or flourish your business. But to make it very simple, if you are creating it, you have the access to change it, access to give access to provide access to other users, means this is your responsibility. Make it absolutely simple, right? So this is what the shared security or shared responsibility model in cloud. These are all, this is fundamental. So we need to just understand the concept behind it. Why we need to understand this? Because running everything on cloud does not mean you are secure by default. No, you are not. It depends the kind of deployment you have, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and accordingly you have your share of responsibility, and you should take care of it. To understand it absolutely simple, the things that you can change, for example, in PaaS service you don't have access to the operating system, you cannot change it, so by default it's not your responsibility. But you have the access to deploy the application, that is your responsibility. By default you can give or take access of your users, so that becomes your responsibility, right? So I think this is a pretty decent, good video for SC900 V2. Well, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.